This is the Energy Makers Show, featuring the innovators, financiers, and policymakers focused on the global energy demand. Brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And here's your host, Russ Capper.
Hi, I'm Russ Capper, and welcome to episode number 112 of the Energy Makers Show. First up today, Jack Brooks, Executive Vice President of Oil and Gas with Lauren Engineers and Constructors, the private Abilene, Texas-based global engineering and construction firm focused on power, processing chemicals, and oil and gas. Then up next, Ria Persad, President of STATWEATHER, a weather prediction company focused on precision long-term weather forecasting for the energy and commodities sector. All that coming up right after this.
At BKD, we understand the constantly shifting nature of the energy industry. As a national CPA and advisory firm, we serve energy clients from the beginning to the end of the cycle. Our experienced energy advisors serve approximately 300 energy companies in exploration, midstream, downstream, oilfield services, and power production. Plus, we're the largest North American member of the Praxity Global Alliance, which means we can help you wherever you operate. Contact a BKD advisor or visit us online to learn more.
This is the Energy Makers Show, brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And now, back to the Energy Makers Show with your host, Paul Dickerson.
Welcome back to the Energy Makers Show. Our guest now, Jack Brooks, Executive Vice President of Oil and Gas for Lauren Engineers and Constructors. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you, Paul.
So tell us about Lauren.
Lauren Engineers and Constructors is a mid-size engineering construction firm. We run between $200 and $450 million a year in revenue. We're focused on power, processing chemicals, and oil and gas. I have responsibility for oil and gas. We're privately held. Our owner has had the company since 1984.
Yep.
Headquartered in Abilene, Texas, and a great bunch of people to work with.
So headquartered in Abilene, but work primarily in Texas?
We work across the world, primarily U.S., Canada, and India.
All right, well, tell us about some of the projects.
We've done a variety of interesting projects. One of the projects we're most excited about right now is a refinery expansion in the Salt Lake City area. It's about a $200 million EPC project.
EPC means?
Engineering, procurement, and construction.
All right.
We have full scope. We have engineering and construction capabilities. This refinery is putting in a brand new FCC unit, a new crude unit, and a relocated catalytic polymerization unit.
All right. So when you were hired onto a project, they scope it out in the oil and gas, and then you can handle it start to finish.
We can. For this refinery project, we're taking it from the UOP Schedule A package, and we're doing the front-end engineering, the detailed design, the procurement, and the construction, full service.
All right. Well, oil and gas, as we know, and this is what, in Utah, you said?
Right.
All right. So, and here in Texas, it's on fire really throughout the continental U.S.
Right.
It's been expanding. It must be a very good time for business right now.
It's a good time. It's busy. We're doing a front-end study for a cryogenic gas processing plant in Oklahoma.
Explain that. What is that?
Cryogenic just means cold.
Sure.
So it gets the gas really cold and extracts the natural gas liquids out, which are petrochemical feedstock. There have been a whole lot of the cryogenic plants go in domestically because of the shale gas revolution that's happening in the U.S. right now.
All right, and it's your responsibility managing not only domestic but international within the oil and gas.
That's right. We've got a very nice size office in Calgary,
all right.
Alberta. That office is focused on adding construction to an engineering company which we purchased a couple of years ago called Concise Design.
All right.
We've been operating under the name Lauren Concise and now migrating to Lauren
Sure.
Engineers and Constructors. Great group of people focused on mid-sized and small engineering projects. We've also got the capability to do EPC or construction for those projects as well.
Clearly we know domestic in Canada is booming. What's happening outside this continent?
There's a lot happening. We're not involved with all of it. As
Sure.
I said, we're a mid-sized firm. We have offices in Mumbai, India, and that office is based primarily on CSP, solar projects, concentrated solar power, which are the focused mirrors,
Right.
To heat a medium, which generates steam and produces power.
Sure.
And we've completed one of our first projects there in India, and now we're looking for more. But we have a nice office there in Mumbai.
What are you finding that differentiates Lauren from other companies?
For a company of our size, having full EPC capabilities, the engineering, the procurement, and the construction
Sure.
within our firm is somewhat unique for a company our size. We're very project focused and very client focused. And that's something that, our clients, continually say they like about our firm.
So what do you think the next 2 to 5 years will look like in the U.S. when it comes to new facilities?
Yeah. We agree with the industry forecasts that shale gas and shale oil are going to continue to grow. We see sustained growth. We see petrochemical, capacity coming on board, which will have a renewed drilling focus, domestically. And we'd like to be a large part of that growth in the U.S.
Well, I know that your firm culture is very important. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. We are privately held. Cleve Whitener is our owner, has had the company since 1984. And Cleve has a vision of being an excellence in project execution, meeting the client's need for cost, schedule, safety, and quality. And Cleve also has a vision for the company of doing everything that we do to glorify God. I'm proud of that, and we as a company try to live up to that.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for coming in today.
Paul, thank you.
And that wraps our discussion with Jack Brooks. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is the Energy Makers Show, brought to you by NRG, moving clean energy forward. And now, back to the Energy Makers Show.
Welcome to the Energy Makers Show. I'm Brandy Obvintsev, and I am here at the Total Energy Show in Houston, Texas. My guest today is Ria Persad, the president and founder of STATWEATHER. Thank you so much for joining us, Ria.
Thank you, Brandy. It's great to be here with you.
So tell us about STATWEATHER.
STATWEATHER is a weather prediction company. And so we specialize in long-term weather forecasts and very precision long-term forecasts, even 3 and 6 months out, as well as risk of different weather events and extreme events taking place. And so our customers primarily come from the energy and commodity sector.
Tell me a little bit about how it works. How do you make your magic happen?
Right. So we are a leader in long-range forecasting, and long-range means beyond the type of forecast you might get by tuning into the Weather Channel or AccuWeather. Maybe you get 10 days or 14 days, or by long term, we're giving these day-to-day forecasts with probabilities of the forecast coming to pass, different confidence ranges, 3 months out, even 6 months out. So it's a very highly specialized niche that people don't get for free when they when they go on to the internet. And so this has now become in the realm of private industry, to do this research over years of R&D, programming big data systems to mine 120 years in our case of historical weather data, identifying patterns, matching those patterns, and then building that into a system to try to predict what's going to happen in the long term.
I see. So tell me about who are your customers then in the energy space?
Yes. The vast majority of our customers are in the energy trading sector. We also have people who are in different types of risk management with portfolios, even equities. We have people who are using it for demand response and load forecasting within a certain company if they're trying to project their utility consumption if it's a large industry. And so these are the types of customers that use our weather.
So how accurate is it?
It's actually very accurate, which a lot of people don't believe at first, because how accurate can a 3-month out weather forecast actually be? But using these methods, we were able to target every heat wave in the United States at least 60 days in advance. We missed one that crept up on us the first week of September. So it's not 100% accurate, but the customer can get, so 3 out of 4 times, they're going to be able to tell me 2 months out exactly that window when there's going to be a heat wave or if there's going to be a cold snap. And that's very helpful.
And how does that compare to your biggest competitor?
This is a field where there really isn't a whole lot out there in this realm. And so we have other competitors who might go maybe 20 or 40 days out. Some people, they might go even further, but they give a very general forecast, like weeklies or monthlies. So we came on the scene with something new, which is a daily forecast, and targeting, boom, this is exactly when it's going to happen.
Wow.
And it's putting our neck out on the line, because people are like, okay, I'm holding you to it. You know,
Right.
big money is on the line, but so it has to be good.
Okay, so you all forecast heat waves. Are you going to tell me, hey, there's a heat wave coming up? Are you going to tell us a little bit more?
Yes, we actually give the customer the information of exactly the high temperature and the low temperature and the average temperature day to day. But then we'll also give them what would be a standard deviation, or showing them it can also fall within this range with a 95% confidence, whatever that confidence might be, so that they have an idea what their risk is for that temperature pattern taking place.
I see.
We also do precipitation, drought, hydrologic forecasts in the long term, but it's not as specific as day to day. Those are more grouped in terms of averages over periods of time.
How did y'all get started?
Well, I always had these models that I was piloting. I started out using these models through my consulting practice. And so I had built up a consulting firm, and I had different pilot studies and different customers. Then when I got married in 2009, I discovered that my husband is really great at programming systems. He's a chemical engineer, but I didn't know how good a programmer he was. And so he was able to take a lot of things that I would do a lot of times by hand, kind of prototyping on a computer, some programs, and really build it out into a system with a front end, user-friendly, all that kind of stuff, to wrap it up into a nice package that a company can just log in and boom, 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 they get all these tools and these forecasts.
Wow.
And so he executed something that I've had for a long time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to tap into your expertise, how would they go about doing that?
Right. So if they went to our website, STATWEATHER.com, then they're able to get information. They can get a free trial, so they can try out the forecast for a period of time. We'll say, okay, here's some data, and let's see if it comes to pass. They can look at past forecast history and see if that came to pass. They can look at what's called back testing or hindcasting, where the model runs on data up to a certain point. Like if you had this model in 2000,
right,
would it have been able to predict 2001?
I see.
So they can look at all of that past data to benchmark, and they can use it in real time. And then if they really like it, as our customers get hooked on it, then they can subscribe in.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here with us today. It was such a pleasure to learn about your company.
Thank you, Brandy. Appreciate it.
And that wraps up my discussion with Ria Persad with StatWeather.